It is time for a Trench Crusade bat rep. Been working on this a while, trying to get my Trench Crusade army going. And it's my first throw, and I'd played one game previously as sort of like in 1.5, I played a 500 Ducat list. And yeah, it felt good. So this is my first sort of full, I guess, a standard game, which is the 900 Ducat 8 game of Trench Crusade, and this is the 1.6 battle report that I like a lot. 1.6 had some really nice changes that I think are really good for the game. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing more Trench Crusade. I'm finishing up on my army. I'm finishing painting them. In this particular bat rep, I had like one model that still needed to be painted, so glad to get that done. But hey, just like, subscribe, and comment. I will be having some more Trench Crusade, as well as just my normal stuff coming out in the future. So, just again, 900 ducats, 8 glory, sort of a standard one. We're running the scenario 2, which is the take and hold. 1.6 place test. Yeah, this is just my second game, so I am going to say that just the pictures, I'm not good. So, this is going to be an abbreviated battle report. The pictures were we ended up just doing pictures at the end of the turn and just explaining it away. And yeah, I have an unpainted model that I'm going to be finishing up soon. So my future battles, I'm going to be trying to do a better job of taking pictures and sort of notating how, like, what happens. This is different than like OPR. Like, everything in the game is a little more squishy, or like everything in the game is a little more complicated. So I am still trying to figure out the format of doing a Trench Crusade bat rep. But yeah, more to come. But yeah, let's just look at the army list. I'm going to go into some of the specifics. A lot of my listeners and viewers don't play Trench Crusade, so I'm going to do a little bit of overview on it. So for myself, I'm running new Antioch. I'm running the new Alba Assault attachment. I'll go into a few of those special rules, but let's just run through the list. So in here, so we'll go into it. The lieutenant in the new Alba is actually strong. So actually, I've given him a great sword, and he's got an automatic rifle along with machine armor. So yeah, he's really expensive. He's with my fire team on this sniper priest, which I'm just running with a standard sniper rifle. So fire team 1 has just a lot of firepower. He himself, he's got that automatic rifle, so he's walking up, he's getting 2 shots, or he's going to shoot once and then just charge in with that great sword. So a lot of hitting power with that lieutenant, along with that machine armor. So he's pretty tough. He's the most expensive guy in my troop. I've then got a trench cleric with a semi-automatic and a sword with standard armor. So just sort of a mid-range. He's in the second fire team with the combat engineer. So my combat engineer is pretty spicy. I got him with a satchel charge. He's running with the bagpipes. And we'll get into, with New Alba, their musicians are called bagpipes. And the only difference is that those bagpipes, in addition to the +1 dice for dashes, they get immunity to fear, which is really nice because between the trench cleric and the combat engineer, I actually have 2 anti-fear bubbles. The trench cleric cancels out fear, and so does the combat engineer. Yeah, he just finishes off with a pistol. But yeah, the big thing the combat engineer is going to be doing, he's got that engineer armor. So he's going to be relatively protected. He's just going to be using those bagpipes, and just when he needs to, he's going to rush up and throw a satchel charge at something. I then got a heavy mechanized infantry with machine armor and a greatsword. So again, and we're going to get into that new Alba, their mechanized infantry are +1 melee, not range. So yeah, he's just rocking up. He's just really tough. -3 armor. He's just walking up with a greatsword. I then got a combat medic. Finally, and then so from there, I've got just 3 shock troops, all with great swords and standard armor. Just we're gonna get into New Alba. They get discounted great swords, so yeah, I'm just stacking up on the great swords here. 2 Yeomen that are just sort of solids, and finally, just for my allies, a witch burner and an observer. So yeah, let's just go into the new Alba attachment. So I went back and forth about whether going them or Prussians. I ended up going for New Alba because I just like great swords. I think they're fun, so I chose this detachment as well instead. So they got rampant charge. They can ignore the penalties for obstacles. Really nice. Again, they're mechanized. So the mechanized infantry for New Alba don't. They have +1 nice in melee instead of ranged. So that makes them more melee focused. One thing as well is really cool. Their machine armor doesn't give you the minus is for charging. So that's really nice, a little bit of a faster one. The lieutenant has strong, which is really cool. They do limit you on machine guns, automatic. So they do have some limits So they're not a shooting based. This is not a shooting based detachment. So that's why I really have. I think for me that bagpipes on engineer is just really key. Just to being able to get those plus one dash dice as well. Yeah, and then I'm sorry, it's 4 inches are immune to fear. So still, just sort of a minor fear bubble, as well as just the musicians giving that plus one dice to dash. So again, I'm playing a lot of close combat in this army, so I want to have the ability to just really guarantee or do a lot better about getting my guys in hand to hand. Brave as well, plus one to morale test. And yeah, here's a really nice one. Great swords are only 7 ducats, and you can see I have a lot of great swords in this army. And finally, just lightly armored, so only the mechanized infantry lieutenant can bring reinforced the machine. So you see, I have a lot of standard armor, but just those two have the machine armor. So yeah, and just to keep in mind, I'll just show you one minor thing is this satchel charge here. So I really want something that can ignore armor consistently. So I do have this satchel charge on my engineer, who's just when he needs to, he's just going to rush up, probably with a dash, and just throw the satchel charge. Again, if it lands on someone directly, it ignores the model's armor. So it's in Trench Crusade. Again, I'm learning the game, but I have been following the meta and I've noticed you do need things in your army that can ignore armor. So yeah, we'll see how it does. Let's just go into my opponent, who's running some trench pilgrims, and this is the war pilgrimage of Saint Methodius. So for him, he's got, kind of a war prophet as well. So this is my version of the lieutenant. So these guys are the 2 range, 2 melee. So he's got an automatic rifle like me, an anti-tank hammer, which we'll get into, standard armor, an iron caparate, if I'm saying it correctly, and finally the blessed icon. He's then got a castigator with that automatic pistol and a flail. He's running a lot of flails, trench shield, and an iron caparate. And then, and so Saint Methodius, they really have kind of extra bonuses to their anchorite shrine. So his anchorite shrine's really expensive, but it's nasty. He's got an auto cannon on that thing, which we'll get into, a grand anchorite, so he can sort of move in and out of combat. He's got this holy diesel engine, so he's going to be adding some bonuses to his dash actions. Sacred Geometry is giving him a +1 ranged, and then the Wrathful Cherub. This is actually pretty cool, where if he's in hand-to-hand with things, and they're not immune to fear, they have to run away. So that's pretty cool. Again, 2 Stigmatic Nuns that he's got armed very similarly. Really nice setup, right? A War Cross, 2 Flails, standard armor, and an Iron Caparate. And then he's got 2 trench programs. He's got one with Zealot Strength, which is giving it strong. He's got a punt gun, which we'll get into, which is nasty. A flail, standard armor, and then the Caparate. And finally, he's got his other trench program with a machine gun, standard armor, and martyrdom pills. And finally, he actually has the same allies as me. He's got a witch burner and an observer. So just to sort of give a little bit about the Saint Methodius. So one, again, they can get 2. They're sort of an anchorite shrine focus, where they can basically tweak and upgrade their anchorite shrines. -1 range, so they're a little more melee focused, but he's actually given it an upgrade. No ecclesiastical prisoners with a martyrdom device, as well as broken on the wheel. So that's sort of their disadvantages. They can't really run ecclesiastical prisoners. They don't like communicants as well. That's why he's running his witch burner, as opposed to that communicant. They can't be, I don't know what this does, but they have, so the chaste order basically says their nuns have to have standard armor, which I think is fine. I mean, those nuns are so good, I would put standard armor on them. Yeah, and I think it's fine. So that's a minor thing, just where their nuns have to have armor. And then they can buy machine. Yeah, so in their version, they can get machine guns and automatic rifles and a submachine gun. So that's why he has one of his pilgrims. And then the patron of the warband is always the learn state, which I don't know about. Let's just go into some of this. This is more from my learning, because I haven't played Trench Crusades before, although I want to start them. So for his anchorite shrine, he's given it this sacred geometry, +1 ranged. The grand anchorite basically lets it move out of combat at will without taking free hits. He's got the Wrathful Cherub upgrade, which is again, if something is affected by fear, it has to run away, basically, which is pretty cool. And he's got this autocannon. Yeah, he's armed this thing with this autocannon. Is nasty. It's basically a machine gun that's with +1 damage to injuries. It's so good. And you can also shoot up to 5 times if all actions are risky. So it's very expensive, but also if you want to, you can just, if you really need to, you can basically just shoot 5 times, and if you know, as long as you're just hitting. Really cool weapon, yeah. Just going into some of the other weaponry to note, those nuns have this war cross, which is just an 8-inch assault weapon. Really good for them because those nuns are ranged +1 and melee +2. A punt gun. Punt guns are crazy good just with the +1 to hit and +1 to injury. And shrapnel. Like this thing, if this thing hits, they can also do a 3-inch radius, and I think they take a blood marker, right? Yeah, so they can, before the unit shoots with it, can overcharge it to give it a 3-inch radius, but it takes a blood marker. Really cool. And it can't unless it's strong. So he's given that Pilgrim zealous strength. It also just has a +1 dice to hit. So this punt gun is just nasty. It's short range, but if he gets in range, he's going to be, shooting something with a hand. And then he's got this anti-tank hammer. This is on his leader. That's just, it ignores all armor with +1 dice. And it also suffers a blood marker if it hit. It's really cool. Like, I love the Pilgrim. Trench Pilgrims are so cool. They just have some really cool equipment that's just, really cool. Anyway, so let's just go into the setup. And again, I didn't cover everything. Few things to keep in mind for my opponent. He's running his Anchorite Shine towards the right with his, he's got his Witch Burner. His War Prophet is right here. On the center right here on this elevated building, that's his machine gun Pilgrim. And then towards the right, he's got his Castigator with his 2 nuns and the Observer. And then towards the far left here is his punt gun Pilgrim. That's going to be sort of like sneaking around the terrain and just going to like blow things up. For my side, you're going to see here, you can't see it, but the Sniper Priest is actually in that building. I think you can just barely see it. But I'm using a Sniper Priest and a Yeoman to basically get a position on this building to shoot, and then I'm going to use my Observer to sort of protect them. But a lot of my army, you can see towards the right here, I've got my Combat Engineer with the bagpipes. Now, I'm using it as the flag. I couldn't find a good model, so basically my flag guy is the bagpipes. But as you can see, I have them all huddled around this bagpipes guy so that a lot of my hand-to-hand units are right here, and I'm going to use those bagpipes to sort of just push up this center here. As you can see, we've got these 3 objectives right here. So I've got a lot of my army on this side, with mainly some of my shooting just right there. And turn 1. Now, New Antioch gets to go first. He let me go first. And so a lot happened on the first turn. The first thing is that he moved up his War Prophet, and he basically just sort of moved up. His machine gunner did shoot one of my shock troopers and took him out. But the big thing is that I activated my fire team with this. So I have my lieutenant and my sniper up in the building, activated the fire team, focused down his War Prophet, which was right here, and I just rolled crazy good. I just hit him, and then I rolled basically 2 10s in a row. So the War Prophet had standard armor, so I hit him, I removed his Tough, which he has like a Miracle, that's like a better version of Tough, but then I immediately shot him again, and then I basically took him out with 2 10s. So I definitely started out this game rolling great in that I just hit that guy and just basically took out his leader. Pretty crazy. Another thing, he's had some really bad rolls in that his Observer failed his dash. He tried to use his Observer ability but rolled a 1, so his Observer basically knocked himself down and took a blood marker. So turn 1 definitely went towards me. His Castigator did hit one of the nuns, put a blood marker on her. She dashed up, and then this is actually the nun turning that blood marker into a blessing on their turn. So that's his thing. His Castigator will hit those nuns. That's where that standard armor actually comes in handy, right? He hits the nuns, puts a blood marker on them. The nun activates, turns that blood marker into a blessing marker, and then his nuns basically run forward here. But still, I've definitely had the better rolls. Just taking out his War Prophet was really huge. You can just see on this side, his Shrine Anchorite did take some blood markers on its own. I think it's whenever he dashed up, he took some blood markers from that, and I think I may have shot him once. So the Shrine Anchorite took some blood markers on his own, as well as I think I did one. He shot this autocannon into my heavy infantry right there. That's my heavy mechanized infantry, but that machine army held up pretty well. So I only ended up just taking one. I ended up only taking one wound. So yeah, that shrine anchorite's just nasty. That's just the other picture. You can just see I was trying to do some dashes first, but these two failed their dashes. I was trying to like dash first in this move, but they just failed their dashes on 3 dice, so they didn't do anything. But yeah, the rest of my guys got their 3 dice dashes off, which I think it's about average. As you can kind of see, it's like about basic. I think it's around like 3/4 of a time on 3 dice you'll get a dash off as a risky. So yeah, these two failed. The rest made their dashes, and yeah, I like that. Here is my bagpipes, just with that flag and just the ability to push everything up. I did have my so after I took a wound on my heavy mechanized infantry, my healer moved up. She attempted to heal that blood marker off, but wasn't able to. But yeah, I really like the and the witch burner can't dash, so he's just moving up. I did. Oh yeah, the witch burner actually put the other blood marker on the shrine anchorite. I forgot about that. Yeah. All right, that's just showing a picture. Yeah, there's the sniper priest that shot. Here was his war prophet, and then my sniper priest and my lieutenant shot that war prophet off the board. And yeah, and there's my dead. So this is the dead. This is his war prophet, and this is one of my shock troopers that got took out. All right, and that's just on his end. Here's this shrine anchorite, along with him just pushing up, and he's got this pilgrim that's going to be shooting with support, and that's just showing me. I'm using these buildings as basically cover here with a lot of hand-to-hand troopers here, and I'm also using a lot of guys to protect my trench engineer, who not only has that satchel charge but has those bagpipes, so I really want to protect him. Pretty good. Turn 2. So he chose to go first this time. And yeah, at the end of turn 2, one thing he did, he just moved up. Again, he had some really bad rolls here. One thing that happened is he did have one of his stigmatic nuns charge that observer, missed. That observer then just knocked down that stigmatic nun in return. But the big thing that happened was he moved up his shrine anchorite with a dash, and then basically unloaded his autocannon into my heavy. I think he was expecting to take it out, but the rolls were. I guess it was just more the fact that like this machine armor, this -3, he just wasn't able to get that 12 he needed, and so it survived. And remember, he knocked it down, but machine armor from New Antioch just counts as its minor hits. Yeah, and so the shrine anchorite just moved right here. And I just basically, I activated my fire team again with my leader and the sniper priest. They knocked down that shrine anchorite. And then I had my witch burner. He basically smited that knockdown anchorite and then charged it. I made a risky action to charge the anchorite, hit him again, put another blood marker, and then basically just bloodbathed him and took out that shrine anchorite. So that's a huge loss for him, and it took me some really good rolls to do that. So yeah, and again, that my lieutenant and that sniper priest fire team is just doing so much work. It's just really just doing a lot of work here. And yeah, you could just see here just some of my other stuff just moving. Over here, oh yeah, I think I actually failed some dashes. I attempted to activate my fire team to throw a satchel charge, but actually they just failed their dashes. So these two, basically with one failed dash, I failed to activate both of them. Yeah. And that witch burner just doing a lot of work, just basically taking that shrine anchorite out. Really good to have that anchorite gone. And then I had one of my shock troops and my heavy infantry charge this witch burner. I just failed to hit. Yeah, I basically just failed to hit him. So he didn't take any damage. But more terrible luck. So my opponent, you're going to see here, there is this other nun is gone. He attempted to whip that other nun to give it a blood marker, but he rolled a 10, which actually just killed that nun. So he killed his own nun, which was crazy. It's like he hasn't been rolling great. And then on his turn, So he lost one of his nuns to his castigator just hitting him. And yeah, this is showing the other nun just trying to hit that observer. But that observer with that polearm and temporal fugue just managed to survive and then just basically return hit. And then you can see here, I've just this elevated position. I've got this Yeoman. I've got my sniper just basically shooting down from elevated position. He has his punt gun. The punt gun moved up, but he basically missed. So the punt gun shot and missed. So there. And then his observer is just moving up as well. And yeah, there is that. It was really nice to get that Shrine Anchorite out. And yeah, and there is his other nun that was taken out by the Castigator. So not going well for my opponent. I'm definitely having the new player luck here. And yeah, it's just sort of, and again, I did have some failures here just from trying to dash. So for instance, I think this Stormtrooper failed, and I think she also failed to dash. I haven't been rolling great with my 3 dice dashes, and also these two failed with their fire teams. But, I mean, my rolls are also going really good when it counts, so I'm not going to complain too much. Turn 3, yeah, the Trench Crusade still get to go first, and he's on the back foot. And, you know, the big thing that I think happened on turn 3 was actually his... so one thing you're going to see here is that just we continue to just... this is how it sort of starts here with the Castigator in the center, and then this fighting going on here. Basically what happens is the Combat Engineer just moves up and throws a satchel charge on this Castigator, just basically kills him. He is moving up his punt gun. I think his punt gun misses again. I actually move up my lieutenant. We shoot his machine gun Pilgrim and take him out. His Pilgrim, I think, shoots... his Pilgrim machine gun shoots something, and I think downs it or does some damage, but he doesn't take anything out. And yeah, I have like 4 guys beaten up on his Witchburner here, but he's still alive. Yeah, and also I think when the one thing we forgot is when the lieutenant moved up and shot his guys, we forgot the martyrdom pill. So there's definitely a few things that we missed. That, for instance, he didn't get his martyrdom pills off, so that probably shouldn't have died. Yeah, that's just showing all these guys are now kind of beaten up on the Witchburner here. But yeah, we can't take that Witchburner out. But yeah, the coolest thing is actually the Stigmatic Nun stood up, took out the Observer in hand-to-hand, moved back, and then she threw some crosses at that Yeoman, hit him, knocked him off the building, and then he fell. So that Stigmatic Nun actually took out two people. And then the Observer and Punt Gun are moving up. The Punt Gun missed again. He's just not rolling well, unfortunately. And then turn 4, he gets to go first, but still, his luck turned around towards the end of the game, but I just had some really good luck early. So by here, yeah, this is how it's just starting out. And yeah, towards the end of the game, we had the Sniper Priest take out that other nun. The punt gun moved up and I think shot at my leader, I believe. But I think the punt gun missed, or it may have shot at the Combat Engineer. But yeah, and the Observer, I think, tried to do a dash and failed. Yeah, it just didn't work out. It ended up being that the Sniper Priest took out the nun, and then I had my leader with the machine gun. He moved up and he shot. This is the leader. He's over here. He shot. Yeah, and this is this failed. He actually wanted to dash on his Pilgrim to get within close range, but he failed that. So yeah, basically at that point. That's just showing the end of the game. He failed his morale because he was below 50%. And yeah, the game was over. This is showing just the dead pile here. And yeah, definitely the beginner luck, this game. I definitely missed a lot of things, but luckily, like I said, I had a lot of beginner luck that I just, when it really mattered, I rolled. So just the end of the game, I just had some great rolls, a lot of beginner luck. My opponent just had some bad rolls. Yeah, like I said, killing his own nun was really rough. It was definitely a learning game. Like, I forgot a lot of stuff. I forgot about my Observer and my Lieutenant having their ability to, like, move something after the fact. So there was a lot of stuff I forgot. Definitely could have played better. Just some learning points. I really like machine armor on New Antioch. I mean, so he shot a good amount into my leader and my heavy mechanized infantry. But that machine armor was just that -3, and the ability to not be knocked down is so good on New Antioch. So I really that I think I can understand he focused on those big models, but no, he did shoot at some of my other shock troops and took them out. But that machine armor did me really good. The shock troopers I think performed pretty well. I like them with their setup with just some standard armor and a great sword, so they're still pretty decently tough. Yeah, I would say that lieutenant and sniper priest fire team was so good. I mean, it took out two things. It took out his war prophet, and it knocked down his shrine anchorite. Just that combination is really good. The bagpipes, I think, did really well. Just being able to not just give a fear buff, but also that also just that plus one dice to dash is great. The combat medic, maybe I just rolled bad on her. She didn't do anything. Like I think she failed her medic rolls, and also I was attempting to try to do the finish the fallen, but the fact that she has 0 dice in melee is maybe I just need to stack some blessings on her, because that finish the falling when she charges up and attacks something in hand to hand and ignores the armor is really good. But you just have to. The problem is, it's just she has 0 dice in melee, so you have to be able to. I think I may start putting some blessings on her. Man, I actually want to play Trench Pilgrim now purely because of those stigmatic nuns. Those things were so good. Oh, I want to play them. So yeah, this definitely made me want to play Trench Pilgrim. So you may be seeing me create a new Trench Crusade coming out. Hey, thanks for watching. I'd love to get feedback. Like I said, the next Trench Crusade bat wrap, I'm going to try to be more comprehensive in my photos and notate stuff. But I had a blast. I really liked my first game. It really helped that I rolled really awesome. Like, subscribe, and comment. Send me your, for OPR or just Trench Crusade. I'd love to get your suggestions on how I can, what will be good, what's good for New Antioch, what's good for trench programs. I'm definitely going to be starting trench programs soon, and I definitely want to run them with some stigmatic nuns. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.